parents and guardians and their families, my junior colleagues to be inducted any time from now, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with joy and a great sense of responsibility. I have the lecture in print for you, so you can as well go home and read it. Don't try to read the lecture today. Read it and read it after today. But it's there for you to keep, so that you continue to remember today and avoid the banana peels. That I address you today during your swearing-in ceremony. And I want to say congratulations, join others in saying a big congratulations to you on a day like this. I think my greatest qualification is my being a member of this noble profession, as stated by the Honorable Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare. And I can still remember vividly, please move the slide on. Yes, leave it here. I could still remember vividly the address delivered by the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine then, University of Ibadan, late Professor Benjamin Oshitokun. And he told us clearly that the greatest doctor is not one that can treat all ailments, but one that recognizes his or limitation. And so, my junior ones, today, know your limitation. There is no room for any heroic activity in medicine. Medicine essentially is what I will call a profession that is conservative. If you get it right, we will say, yes, well done. We've also done it in the past. If you get it wrong, Dr. Sanusi will be there to handle the matter. And I pray that you will never get into trouble with Dr. Sanusi. Next slide. Much more importantly, my junior colleagues, the health of your patients is very critical. Resolution 18 of the 55th World Health Assembly stated clearly that the health of a patient is paramount, and therefore it is important that we should not worsen their condition. There is a local proverb in Yoruba land that if you cannot make me better, please leave me alone. So as doctors, do not worsen the condition of your patients. And it's also important, go back. Do no harm is a key component of ethical principle. You must not harm anybody. Next slide. There's also the interesting part. Why do we call the client that we are treating patient? The word patient refers to an adjective and a noun. The noun refers to a person receiving or registered to receive medical treatment. The adjective refers to forbearing, not complaining, accept or tolerate delays, problems or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. And that is one of the pitfalls. Ordinarily, we expect that that person will be patient, but they are never patient. There is no way that the person in pain will be forbearing and will tolerate delay. So please recognize that the use of the word patient has posed a problem to us. You cannot afford to be patient without patience. And that's why I said patient versus patient. The patient is never patient. Next slide. And please note that you must be punctual and avoid the unfavorable healthcare provider attitude that turns away our patients and makes them lose confidence in the physician. Confidence is very important. Many of them, they see us as gods, little gods, and we must not fail them. When you leave this all today as a member of our profession, you must not fail that person, the patient. And I pray you will never fail them. Again, you are a role model and a team leader and should care for every team member. That team comprises the doctor, the physiotherapist, the pharmacist, the nurse, the midwife, quite an array of people. And one of the reasons why we have inter and intra-professional disharmony is that we doctors look after ourselves alone. We forget them. Yet we cannot do the job alone. So please, when you get to the top and at any point along the ladder, look after other members of the team. And you should appreciate that leadership is earned and not demanded. Never tell anybody I'm the leader. When a man wakes up in the morning and tells the wife, I'm your husband, something is wrong. That man actually has ceased being a husband a long time ago. So don't wake up and say, I'm the leader. People should wake up and say, that is our leader. And again, respect also begets respect. Some of the procedures I've learned in Obsangani, I learned them from midwives. I learned to do vaginal examination from a midwife. So never be scared to learn from them. Because you're a doctor does not really make you a super specialist, a superhuman being who cannot learn from another person. So you can learn from even the nurse or the midwife. And many of them have picked the experience over the years that will not even find in your textbook. So be patient, and your education is to better the society. And you must contribute to the growth and development of your community and your society. And I pray you will succeed in this endeavor. Next slide. Again, one of the challenges of booby traps, remember the definition of the word patient which I said. That person is registered to receive treatment. So in other words, your patient must be registered. Documentation is key in medicine. Let it not be said that you treated someone with no record. You did not even know the name. Even in emergency situations, somebody else can be doing the registration while you are resuscitating. But do not attend to anybody and at the end of the exercise, there is no record. You do not know the name. And that will be disastrous. And then you must document every encounter with the patient. There is no problem with too much details. You will soon learn that the more the detail, the better. And no one gets into trouble by having too much of detail. You can only get into trouble when there is too little of details. Next slide. And I said, peace of mind is not about fat bank accounts. It's about contentment. Let it not be hard that you measure your professional success or competence by the number of cars you buy or number of mansions you build. Let it be that you are contented, helping people, ameliorating suffering, healing the ill and the sick and the injured. Next slide. And I said, it's a privileged position. We are highly privileged. And as I said earlier on, we are little gods. And only God knows how much secret we keep. But that secret must be used well. I said, it's a privileged position, but you are accountable. You are accountable to God, your conscience, the Nigerian Medical Association or Nigerian Dental Association as appropriate, and you are accountable to the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. Please keep your conscience constantly awake, and that is important. Never allow your conscience to go to bed. Next slide. And I want to counsel you from Titus 2:6-8. Said likewise, exhort, next slide, don't go back. Exhort the young men and women to be sober-minded, in all things showing yourself to be a pattern of good works, in doctrine showing integrity, reverence, incorruptibility, sound speech, that cannot be condemned. That one who is an opponent may be ashamed, having nothing evil to say of you. I wish you luck, and I will continue to say I wish you luck. Next one. And I said you have a responsibility. But please, today you are smiling, you are celebrating, people call you a doctor. But let me remind you, you know so little. And you must be humble. You know so little. Quite a number of people know far more than you. There are people who are even super specialists in minor aspects of the profession of medicine. So you know little. And when you recognize that you know little, then you'll be humble. And it's a profession where we learn by the second. We learn throughout. Even when you retire, you keep on learning. But then, please inject hope. Even when the condition is hopeless, inject hope. Hope is what we carry around and makes people do well. And hope is one of the reasons why many people do well and many do not do well. Hope boosts immunity and makes you tolerate treatment better. And above all, work hard. Nobody has ever climbed the ladder of success by putting the hand in the pocket. That person will fall down. Please work hard, and work hard. Next slide. And I said, never stop learning. That's somebody, because life never stops teaching. It's from life and motivation. Next slide. And I said, it's lifetime service to God and humanity. You are not trained to kill. Please, do not kill. And one can kill directly or indirectly. When you fail to attend to the patient promptly, one is killing indirectly. You are trained to care. Same from death, sickness, and debility. Next slide. And I said, a wise physician said the best medicine for humans is love and affection. Someone asked, what is it? What if it doesn't work? He smiled and answered, increase the dose. Love and affection will never kill. It is the absence of love and affection that will kill. One of my teachers, Professor Ladikos, would tell me, nobody can take my patient. And I said, sir, why have you always been saying this? He said, because I show love and affection. And because they have it from me, you can't take away my patient. So please show love, care, affection, smile, even when things are tough. And that patient will respect and stay by you. Show love and affection. And I said, it's a winning strategy. You can never lose. Next slide. And I said, there are care challenges in Nigeria. I don't want to bore you. We know it. Some, and most of them have been mentioned by the minister. But what we want you to do is to tackle these care challenges. They're there. But we can take them off and replace those challenges with opportunities. Next slide. And I said, there is a place for you in Nigeria. The chairman said, don't run away. No matter what happens, there is a place for you in this country. You will find a place. You find a niche. If I can find a place in Nigeria, you can also find a place. So don't give up. I was trained in one of the best facilities. I came back. I went to exile. I came back. So there is a place for you in Nigeria. Don't run away. When you run, you will still come back. We are here. And Nigeria is a nice place. Beautiful. Land of opportunities. The World Health Global Strategy for Health is all about the challenges in the health workforce. Critical one, we all know it. And that's why there is a place for you. There is shortage, problem all over the place. That is when you will thrive. Next slide. And I said, the revised global health workforce said that by 2020, 2 years ago or 3, we were short by 15 million healthcare workers. And I said, it's a serious issue in Africa. That's why there's a place for you. I'm sure you've heard the story of the salesman sent to an East African country to market shoes. And when he got there, he discovered that the people were not wearing shoes. And he quickly sent a telemessage to the headquarters in UK and said, I'm in a place where they do not wear shoes. Please take me away to another country. And they sent somebody else who got there and they said, there is plenty of opportunities. Send me container loads of shoes because they do not wear shoes. See whatever crisis we have as an opportunity to make a difference. And you will surely make it. Next slide. And I said, while you are looking after other people, please take care of your health. I've seen situations where people check other people's blood pressure. they never check their own blood pressure. I'm in gynae oncology, and one day I asked the matron who was doing cancer screening for women, and I said, "Matron, have you ever screened yourself for cancer of the cervix?" And she said, "No. Look after your health. If you don't, nobody else will." Many doctors enjoy checking blood pressure, they neglect themselves. Those who work there are constantly exposed to various health and safety hazards. Know that the medical terrain is not a hotel. Even in the hotel, there are hazards. So please look after your health. That's very important. Next slide. Next slide. Somebody is sleeping somewhere. And I said, no matter the number of figures, one is still the most important. Without one, every other thing there becomes zero. So please, look after your health. Check your blood pressure. Doesn't take time. As you are checking others, tell the nurse or whoever is next to you, "Can you please check mine?" Check your urine once in a while. Does it have... Most medical conditions, when picked early, can be treated. Even cancer. 40% of cancers can be prevented. 40% of cancers can be cured if they are picked early. So you can handle about 80% of cancers. So only 20 can prove difficult. So look after your health. Next slide. And again, protect yourself. We were having a morning review sometimes last week, 8 to 9. We do morning review, 8 to 9. And I asked some of the doctors, the patient had hepatitis B. And I said, "I hope you are immunized against hepatitis B." The doctor kept quiet. "I'm immunized against hepatitis B. Make sure you are also immunized. Don't enter the terrain without immunizing yourself." During the COVID era, we lost a professor of virology because that professor refused to take COVID vaccine. So take the vaccine, protect yourself, wear gloves, PPEs, because you are not autoimmune to any of those pathogens. Protect yourself. Next slide. And I want to commend the federal government for keeping the central posting on. Before, doctors would be walking around. I used to call them the Chinese barefooted doctors in Nigeria. But we thank God now that I think that era is over. I hope the Minister of State will revise and go back to the original memo. The original memo approved by FEC is that all public hospitals, including those in the state, should be taken care of. It is still, if we could look after primary care, well, then we can as well also look after state health care facilities. Please, revisit the original memo as approved by FEC. It's both federal and state. And we computed that we will have enough places for all our young doctors. None of them should roam around. So thank you, Dr. Shanusi, for getting that done. We worked together, and I said the credit will go to FMOH and MDCN under our leadership then. Again, because I'm in medical education, in my write-up I said we will need a new partnership to fund tertiary education. Government can never do it alone. And so parents, guardians must partner with government to fund education so that we can have quality education. Those of you trained outside the country can tell us that it doesn't come cheap. It doesn't. It costs money to provide those facilities. Even to train in dentistry is more expensive than in medicine. So it requires funding which government alone cannot provide. Next slide. And to end, I said, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. You find that in the letter of Paul. I love Paul, the apostle, the poet, the philosopher, in his letter to the Philippians. Whatever it is, please continue to think positively. Good things, things of good report, and you will find grace and you will prosper in this profession. Next slide. And I said, common pitfalls. Keep good records, as this is your only alibi in the day of trouble. Before you know it, the Medical and Dental Council will grab the case note, and then they will look at it. When did you see the patient? When were you called? What did you enter into the case note? Did you get it right? All those things will come up. There is nothing like, it's in my head. It must never be in your head, because that head cannot defend you. If it is not documented, it was not done. And for many of us in the grant-making space, if it was not documented, it wasn't done, and nobody will pay for it. So, document it. And as I said before, I said be deliberately detailed in your entries, as there can be no trouble with details, but there will be plenty of trouble with lack of details. I said write clearly. People say, oh, doctors are trained not to write clearly to deceive people. That is not true. We don't teach people. Write clearly. Let people be able to read what you've written. By the time you are making it illegible, something is wrong. You are hiding something. And I said, be deliberately cautious in the issuance of sick or death certificate. Do not give an ill certificate to the healthy. When the person is well, never you say you are ill. Stay away for 1 week, because the person you are saying stay away for 1 week might go to UK and have an accident or something will happen there. And then do not give a death certificate to the living. That is fraud. May EFCC not come knocking on your door. Next slide. And I said be careful. According to Warren Buffett, it takes about 25 years to build a good name, brand and reputation. But 5 minutes of reckless action to destroy it. Think about this and ask God for grace. So stand strong always. Don't ruin your life with 5 minutes of reckless action. Please be careful, because that little error of 1 minute, thinking nobody will see it, can actually prove to be disastrous. Next slide. And I said, on the way to success, there will be mistakes. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. There will be failures. Yes, others have failed in the past. There will be rejection. It doesn't matter. There will be frustration. Yes, life is full of frustration. There will be insults. Yes, let there be insults. But then you will get to success. Next slide. And I said, draw closer to God. Pray as if every success depends only on prayers. And work hard as if every success depends only on hard work. And may the good God see you through life's smooth and rugged terrains. Next slide. I think that's my next slide. I thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best.